But my first question is, how many people here have read steampunk or know about steampunk? So about half, right? So some of this will be, I'm not going to go into the big time history and all that kind of stuff. There are lots of lists out there. Bibliocommons is fantastic for steampunk lists, and that's where you'll find my resources. So mine is LA_Smith, and that's where all my books are for this particular presentation. I'm going to start off with just a little bit of history. All right, steampunk is a genre that alters history, often of the Victorian period, and this is my perspective. It's not like a course. And it combines that altered history with the intrigue of mysteries or spies and high adventure, usually involving reimagined technology. Steampunk is associated with the steam-powered technology of the Victorian era, but writers also mix in modern technologies such as airships, computers, even time travel, and some of the usual graphics that you see on steampunk covers are gears. So I brought my steampunk ring. Writers in this genre that I really like also use the Wild West as a setting, and I think it's a great genre for all genders and interested in historical fiction, sci-fi, adventures, espionage. There's lots. So it was first credited to K.W. Jeter in the 70s. He was a writer, amongst other writers who were influenced by Jules Verne and H.G. Wells. They speculated on the future by reimagining the past, and that continues today. Now, steampunk is not just about books. It is a whole aesthetic involving cosplay. Who knows what cosplay is? Yay! For those who don't know what cosplay is, and I just found this out through the 3D printing classes, cosplay is events where people get dressed up in their favorite genres or activities. But cosplay, film, graphic novels, kids, teen lit, computer games, there's a whole bunch of stuff associated with it. So can anybody name me a steampunk film?
Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West, that's fun. How about Hugo? How about The Adventures of the League of Gentlemen?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I know, it's a terrible film. I'm not going to say that it is a good thing, a good example, but it is an example. Okay, so I discovered steampunk through Scott Westerfield's Leviathan series for teens. I particularly love the covers, and I do read by the cover. But my two favorites for YA kids are Fever Crumb by Philip Reeves. Fever is a young orphan living and learning from a covey of engineers. Set in post-apocalyptic futuristic city of London, she leaves the safety and the society of the engineers to battle against the authorities who are leading everybody into ruin. I love that the central character was a girl who was passionate about science, and that she overcomes what society thinks she's incapable of. It's part of the Mortal Engine series. The next author that I just want to share with you for YA and kids is our own Arthur Slade's Hunchback Assignments. He writes a series with Quasimodo, the Hunchback Shapeshifter, also a steampunk super spy and a foundling. And he's fighting against a mad scientist who's out to hurt children. So this is a very interesting series because children are reading about people who are being bad to children. And it raises a lot of issues. It's very thought-provoking, but the character is super likable, and again, children will read what they want to read into things, and if they don't like it, they'll just put it down. So it's suspenseful situations, cool inventions like a robotic sparrow, which I thought was amazing. But there is philosophical tension and challenging issues. So other juvenile steampunkers Well, as I mentioned, Scott Westerfield. There's also Kenneth Opals, Airborne, Richard Harlan, Will Shaker, and Ian Colfer, Airman. And again, they're all on the list, so don't worry about it. You can just go to Bibliocommons, which, if Sarah's, is Stephanie here? Yes, I love Bibliocommons. Okay, steampunk and zombies. Now, I'm not a zombie reader, I don't like horror, but Bone Shaker by Sherry Priest was the first adult steampunk book I read, and even though there were zombies creating a bloody and scary mess, especially as the plot developed, I didn't really think of this as horror. And I didn't put the book down even after the zombies were introduced for a couple of reasons. One, Briar Blue, the protagonist, has a really cool name. She's a mom looking for her runaway child, or her runaway son, and how often do you see that in fiction? The secondary characters, although a bit stereotypical, supported the story in believable ways. And as Karen mentioned, the story is actually set in destroyed Seattle. So I was like, oh, that's cool, get to read about something about a city that I know. It was a fun book to read. It was unique. And I think it's going to be a movie. I don't know about anybody else, but I think if they do create the movie, the zombie angle will probably be exploited. Other authors in the subgenre, Gail Carriger. Now, I looked at the titles, or I looked at the covers and I put them down because I just did not like the covers, so I can't really talk about her work. Okay, then there's the Lady Adventurers in steampunk. Am I going too fast or not fast enough?
3 minutes.
Okay. Finley is a female spy with a beastly alter ego inside of her. She joins an army of misfits to help stop the machinist, the criminal behind auto crimes, carrying out a plan to kill Queen Victoria. Shape-shifting and history blend in an interesting way. I also really like characters who have genderless names. And this series has, all of her main characters have genderless names. I haven't read the whole series, but I would take one along on my next vacation. Some other Lady Adventure writers are Kate Locke and Adrian Kress. Manly steampunk. So I say manly because the book covers are often sepia or gray covered. They show a single male hero and some kind of technological aspect. So the first one I read was Retribution Falls by Chris Whitting. It's a trilogy of the Kelly J. Truly swashbuckling adventure with Frey, a captain of a crew, each with interesting powers and histories, getting himself and the crew in and out of dangerous situations on their journey to right wrong. A good recommendation for guys and teen boys, but I really enjoyed it. The first book is the best. I read all three, but I really enjoyed the first. The second book that I recommend is The Glass Book of Dream Eaters. I love the premise of this book. Glass books that hold dreams and thoughts of other people who have died, and that the books could be read by somebody living. So, other writers in this genre of manly steampunk, Philip Steelman and William Gibson has a one title. And then there's Gears, Corsets, and More, which is the compendiums, the books that talk about the aesthetic, and there are not many of those, but they're interesting to look at. So tips, I would recommend steampunk both to men and women, because I think there's lots of people who like spies, adventure, mystery, and history put together. And then I just wanted to show you one link. This is a guy who likes steampunk so much that he has a steampunk kind of night at his bar. He's at the Gus Pub in Halifax, and if you're a steampunk aficionado, you can go there and chat and play games and do all kinds of things. So that's it for me.